Hey everyone, welcome to this week's show of Comfortable and Confident Inside and Out. Have you ever wanted to know how to kick your sugar addiction? Well, if so, this show is for you. Our special guest today is Audrey Pratt. She's a top body restoration coach, and she's here to share her easy steps to kick your sugar addiction. But before we get started, you might be asking, who am I and what this show is all about? And those are two really great questions. So first, I'm Suzanne. I'm a holistic stress relief mentor. I'm founder of Transform Connections. I'm a national wellness speaker. I'm the administrator of the very popular now Empowered Tapping Revolution. It's the women's only tapping Facebook group. I host many online shows. This show, another show called Let's Tap on the Akashic Academy, and also Tapping Open House. For the last 10 years, I've been helping women all over the world to clear their stress and struggle, improve their relationships, have better health, mental health, emotional health, physical health, to help them move through their life transitions and get aligned with what they truly want, all using energy tapping. I have two online programs right now. One is Relieve Anxiety and Quit Overthinking. And the second is a real transformation mentoring program where we tailor it to address your specific issue. This show is Comfortable, Confident Inside and Out, where I bring on top mentors in areas of health, wellness, business, finance, to give you their wisdom and guidance for you to be able to transform comfortably and confidently inside and out. And so our guest today is Audrey Pratt, body restoration coach. She's been a personal trainer, a fitness instructor, a weight loss coach for over 10 years and has, a lifetime of her own self-development wisdom that she brings to us. She owns her own business, and every day she helps women to restore their health and keep them committed to themselves. I know that that's been a struggle that I've always had, is how to stay committed to myself. So she joins us today with her passion, her good vibes, and everything that she's got to share her top tips with you. But before we get started, I just want to say, if you're watching, please give us a thumbs up, a like, just say hi or say yes or something to let us know that you're here and watching with us. And feel free to ask any questions that you might have through the time that we're talking today, because we definitely want to make sure that we get back to you and answer any questions that you have. So welcome, Audrey. Thank you so much for being here.
Sure, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so please tell us about yourself and what it is that you do.
Sure, so I help women, basically the bottom line, the big picture thing is break up with sugar. So as many of us struggle with is that addiction to sugar, the sweet stuff, that delicious thing that we crave every day, whether we're energized or low energy. It's just something that society has kind of created a monster within us. And it's really frustrating for those of us who haven't quite figured out how to overcome those cravings, because there's a number of things that can cause sugar cravings, and a lot of them is out of our control unless we take the steps to get it under control. So that's my main focus with my Facebook group and my clients. The first thing we do, whether we're focused on weight loss, dealing with pain and inflammation, is kicking the sugar addiction. That's step one. And then after you do that, everything else kind of falls into place and everything else seems a lot easier.
Yeah. I mean, ladies, if you're listening in on this conversation, if you are a sugar addict, raise your hand, give us a like, or tell us, yes, this is me struggling too. We definitely want to hear from you and participate with us. I mean, Audrey's here to give us her tips, because I certainly want to know what they are. There are days where I'm like, what am I eating here? Is this chocolate or am I eating sugar? It's just really the sugar and everything. So.
It's true. I think a huge thing that my clients discover is how everything is laced with sugar. Like, you go into your refrigerator and almost everything has sugar added to it. And even if it's trivial amounts, it's like if you keep filling up this jar of water, it's going to eventually overflow. So if we're constantly filling our bodies with sugar, we're going to be in overload. And that's when inflammation happens. Aches and pains, like joint pain, can actually come from consuming sugar. Mm-hmm. If we're highly sensitive to it, even the smallest amounts, it can affect our sleep. It can affect anxiety, stress. Those are some of the biggest reasons that I've given up sugar, is because it affects my sleep and it flares up my anxiety. And so I think the biggest thing is being aware of, you know, like you said, like, what am I eating right now? Am I even being mindful of what I'm eating? And do I even know what I'm eating? Because, you know, we see these packaged goods and it's like, oh, it's fat free, or, you know, they'll slap a label on there like vegan or gluten free, but we don't look in, those are trigger words that like, oh, it must be healthy. And
Right.
so we grab them.
Oh yeah, I'm totally guilty of that. I'm like, oh, if it says vegan or gluten free, I think it must be really good for me. I'm like, I'll get 2 of them. You know, I can eat more
Totally.
now. You know,
And then there's like no portion control. You just like,
so
you're like,
true.
whatever. It's basically 0 calories.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it adds up, and then it adds up to, you know, even though maybe in a small amount something's good for you, but then over time it adds up and it just wreaks havoc, like I said, not just on your waistline, but more importantly on your health. I mean, you know, diabetes is a huge issue, and that stems from the sugar epidemic.
Yeah. And like you said before, like you open up your refrigerator and so much of it's sugar, we don't even realize, like we don't look at those labels. We just go, oh, I've always eaten this.
Yes.
So, like sriracha is one of the things I used to eat all the time. I love sriracha. And I'm like,
know.
this must be healthy for me. I'm like, there's so much sugar in sriracha. Oh my God, I can't eat this anymore. So there's like so many different condiments. I know like ketchup has a ton of sugar in it.
Yes.
And just regular things I think we just think are just like good for us. Oh, tomatoes and ketchup, of course. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest shocks that my clients like are just, there's you know, the first week of I have a 6-week program that's more of a group program, and then I have a one-on-one, and again, both of those start with breaking up with sugar. And you know, that's one of the biggest things that they come back to and be like, I can't believe how much sugar is in XYZ. Or, you know, a big thing is people with their coffee, like they cannot live without their coffee.
Right. Everyone says that, right? They're like, I need my coffee. But what do you really need about it? You know, because coffee doesn't really taste very good, I think, by itself.
I think it's like the habit, you know, of I actually last year also broke up with coffee because I was affecting my anxiety, and I had always been defined by coffee. Like I was known as like the coffee addict, had to have my coffee in the morning, very, very much defined by it. And I think a lot of society is like, I can't start my morning without coffee and sugar. And so, or cream, you know, because some people are very sensitive to dairy, and dairy turns into sugar. So there's that whole aspect too, very inflammatory for many. And so, you know, I've got someone who loves their coffee. They can't live without their fat-free milk or, you know, creamer, and they can't live without their sugar. So that's a big obstacle for people to get over. But it's really fantastic because we live in a time where there's so many options and alternatives out there, like really, really delicious non-dairy creamer, or stevia and monk fruit. You know,
I've never tried monk fruit, but I heard it's really good. I don't know what to compare it to, but people say that it's good. I don't really eat sweeteners, but I think if I would, that probably would be one that I would go toward, even though it sounds weird, monk fruit.
I know, like I don't even know what that is.
What is that? like an apple on a tree? What kind of fruit are we talking about here?
Yeah, I'm not really sure exactly what it is. In fact, my boyfriend and I, he did, when I was going through the 6-week Break with Sugar program with my clients, I stuck to it, and my boyfriend also did it with me. And so we were looking for, you know, I also don't recommend doing like, you know, stevia and monk fruit's okay. But when you get to like Splenda, things like that, you want to avoid that like the plague, because it's again, just inflammation that you're adding into your body. It's just total chemicals.
Yeah, so let's just talk about that for a second, because I know last year I struggled so much with inflammation and didn't realize that things that I was eating was causing it. I thought that there was some hormonal reason.
Interesting.
And I did this kind of like food elimination diet to try and see where those triggers were coming from, but I never really attributed it to food. I always just thought, oh, well, you know, I'm perimenopause, it must just be hormonal and my body's changing. I never really associated with certain foods that I would think, why would that cause me inflammation? But it did. So,
Isn't that fascinating?
yeah, yeah. So I think what I'm hearing from you is maybe just kind of step one to your how to quit the habit is to just take a look at your refrigerator, start reading some labels, and be like, what am I eating? You know, and why do I feel so bad at the end of the day? And maybe start making some different observations about things.
Definitely. One of the biggest things that I think my clients really get from these programs is awareness and mindful eating. We go through our day, we wake up, we jump out of bed, we rush to the coffee maker, we maybe grab something, it's a quick crummy granola bar that we, says vegan and gluten-free on it, and we think it's healthy. So we're living off of
right. I've done that.
Totally. So you're living off of sugar, caffeine, dairy, and you're out the door, and then you're rushing, and then lunch comes and you realize that you're starving, and you find like the most convenient thing and you shove that down your throat, and then it's 3:00 and you got that crash and there's the vending machine. I'm going to go get a candy bar because that's going to give me energy. And then you get home and you're hangry and you're cranky and you just want to like throw a pizza in the oven. And so that's just a day of chaos and very, very non-mindful eating. And so there's so many aspects of our day that are not mindful, not even food related, but just going through emotions every day. And food is something that should be taken into, really should be given the time that it deserves, like when you're sitting down to eat, and I'm guilty of this, don't watch TV, don't do something else, like chew your food, because those enzymes are what help digest your food properly. Like there's a reason we have teeth. We need them.
Oh yeah, we just shovel and swallow.
Yeah, I've been eating with chopsticks lately because it makes me eat slower and more mindfully.
That is you can't lift sugar on the chopstick. That's like one way to hardcore break up with
ice cream with chopsticks. Yeah, that's actually a good way to like.
Yeah, you maybe should just like create a new program now, the chopstick program.
Yeah, totally.
Break up with all about the people like stabbing. Can't get my candy bar in my mouth without it like this. Oh my god,
that's actually a good tool. Yeah. It's been helpful because I work out a lot. And so when I need to eat, I need to eat. And so I do tend to eat very, very quickly. But again, I know that to really think about okay, I'm in the moment right now. I'm eating. What are these flavors? Really giving food the gratitude and the attention that it deserves, because it's a relationship that we've had our entire lives and we'll have to continue to have for the rest of our lives if we want to survive. It's something that we can't just, like a bad relationship, break up with. You have to really listen to your body, figure out what foods are right for you, and not think of food as a punishment. So when people start switching to healthier foods, less processed, that mindset of diet has all negative connotations. We first when you think of a diet, Suzanne, what do you think of? What is some
I just feel deprivation. You're taking something away from me. My life's going to be miserable.
Yeah, exactly. Who wants to do that? It's almost like you procrastinate on losing weight because you think that a diet's the only way that's going to get you there, by dieting, by eating raw carrots and just flavorless food. And
ladies, if you're listening in on us right now, what are your thoughts on what a diet means and how that's affected your psychology of how you don't want to do that, or how many diets have you tried? There's a bazillion diets out there, and all of them have just been let's just white knuckle this experience and get through this together, and then you're then I want to go back to eating whatever I want to eat again.
And then what happens then?
Yeah, you gain it all back.
The weight just comes back with a vengeance. Exactly. And so it's mindset is a huge part of breaking up with sugar, because again, it's not that you're never ever going to be able to consume sugar again. It has nothing to do with that. It's more of taking the time to get to know your body and knowing what it needs and deserves, to tell my clients 80% of the time, 80% of the time you want to eat the foods that are right for you. And after going through the program, you have a really, really good understanding of what's right for you, because, one person might be able to consume dairy. The other one might be highly sensitive. We're all different. One size does not fit all.
Mm-hmm.
And so, once you figure out what foods are right for you, start to experiment with different, trying different foods that you've never tried before.
What are some that you suggest? Like, say for breakfast, instead of like, okay, I'm not going to put heaps of sugar on my coffee anymore. I'm not going to do that creamer that has all that sugar in it. Like, can you give us some simple tips on how to even just deal with that?
Yeah, sure. So I think a big one for coffee, and this is totally kind of out there, like some people have to kind of wrap their brain around it, but once you find it, you will love it. And it's something that I can't eat anymore or can't have anymore because I don't drink coffee. But when I did drink coffee, it's called bulletproof coffee. And you blend with your coffee. There's a couple different options, but the way that I always did it was collagen powder. And collagen powder, it's not vegan. So if you're more of like, you don't want to eat animal product, it's probably not right for you, but there's other ways. So I'll start with what I usually would do was a scoop of collagen powder, which is really good for skin elasticity, joint health. It has good source of protein. Good for hair, skin, and nails. I always tell people it's like nature's Botox. Yeah. It's like the one thing in our diet that we're missing. Like our ancestors would make chicken soup and they would use the bones and we'd get collagen from that. So it's a very natural source. And then I would also add in coconut oil. Mm-hmm. You could also add a little bit of non-dairy milk, and you blend it up and it turns into like this frothy, delicious latte. It's very nourishing. So the coconut oil is really, really good fats for you. Helps to wake up the brain very naturally. Also helps to keep your caffeine levels at bay so you're not crashing. And then again, the collagen powder is really, really good for, skin protein first thing in the morning.
Well, that sounds like something interesting to try and, replace any kind of super, super sugary coffee.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people go to like coffee shops and stuff, and I've seen a lot more of that bulletproof coffee even available at coffee shops.
Yeah.
It's popular now. So maybe try it out, ladies. If you're somebody who likes your sugary creamer, maybe one day just try the bulletproof and see how it satiates you and how it makes you feel maybe a little bit better.
Yeah. Kind of, again, prevent that crashing from happening and giving your brain and your body some really good nourishment first thing in the morning. And if you have issues, like if you want to add some sweetener to it, there's these liquid stevia drops. So stevia is like a sweetener. It comes from like the extract of a leaf. And it's liquid form, and they have it in like vanilla sweetened. And so if you put a couple drops in there and blend it up with it, that might be able to make up for the, Coffee Mate vanilla sweetener stuff that everyone loves.
Yes.
So that's a great coffee alternative when it comes to breakfast. Food, like have hard-boiled eggs on hand that you can bring with you.
Yeah, they're convenient.
They are. Yeah. I mean, you probably don't want to eat them next to your person at work. They might not appreciate that because they don't smell the greatest. But for like
yeah, no, they're great. Don't wait too long to eat them, but I mean, just make them fresh. But hard-boiled eggs are convenient and easy. That's a great way. So definitely what I'm hearing from you is, there's light at the end of the tunnel if you have a sugar addiction, and that truly what that sugar is doing to your body is creating that inflammation, creating that physical, experience of not feeling well, and inflammation, tiredness, all of that, what you explained. And that, a couple of things you could start doing right now are just start looking at your labels and see what's actually in the food that you're eating. Even the simple condiments like that I found with my favorite sriracha, that I can't have anymore because there's way too much sugar. So just looking in your refrigerator and seeing what's on the labels, and then being more slow about your eating. I know that I'm just like shoveling and going. Sometimes it's like, wait a minute, I should be chewing this a lot longer. I should be like, and then I get fuller faster, and I don't.
Exactly.
And then also, maybe, so, switch out my coffee in the morning. I don't drink coffee either, but switch out your coffee in the morning with, maybe a bulletproof instead of the sugary stuff, and get the granola bar and make some egg, make some hard-boiled eggs and see how that works for you.
Yeah. I think those are all really good starting points.
Yeah.
There's something I just thought of, but I can't
remember. And if any of the ladies are watching here, if they have their tips and stuff, feel free to pop them in the chat. Or if you have any questions for Audrey, just write a comment and be like, hey, what about this? What about that? She'll be able to answer any questions for you, let you know, like yes or no, or, maybe give you some different alternatives of something else that you could try instead of what it is, or what you're eating, and she'll share some wisdom with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say another huge thing that is when people think sugar-free, they think no carbs. And so that's a big thing. There's certain people out there with health issues that have to stay below a certain amount of carbs. But for the general public, carbohydrates are not the enemy. Sugars are carbohydrates, but not all carbs are created equal. So of course, if you eat a big bean burrito with all like the fixins and rice and beans and a flour tortilla, like that's going to make you feel really, really crummy. It's going to probably be, way too much all at once. But, there's some really, really amazing alternatives out there, like sweet potatoes, squashes, rice, quinoa, beans. Like there's so many great carb sources that our brain really needs. And a lot of times, this is a huge misconception, that if we're kind of at a weight loss plateau, you might want to check on your carb count. A lot of times, limiting carbs too low can actually prevent you from losing weight, which a lot of people aren't really aware.
Oh, yeah, we've been so conditioned to be like, the carb is the enemy. Don't eat carbs at all. And it's like, oh, then we end up eating more sugar, but we're not realizing that those are carbs too.
Yeah, that's the thing is, I think a huge success for my clients comes from they're not limiting their carbs, they're eliminating sugar. So let's say you eliminate sugar and carbs. Well, when you're tired or hungry and your body's craving energy, the first thing it's going to crave is the fastest source of energy, which is sugar. But if you're not consuming sugar, well, at least you can go to carbs. Carbohydrates are going to give you quick energy. You don't want to go for carbs that are fast burning, things like, wheat and white pastas, things like that. You want to go for things like sweet potato, things that sustain a little bit longer, prevent the crashing. But so that's why I really, really drive home to my clients, like, don't give up carbohydrates, choose, gluten-free options. There's some really great foods out there that have made grain-free tortillas, grain-free pasta, bean pasta. And so you're no longer giving up all your favorite foods. You're just finding alternatives. And it's actually really fun. And my clients have had a great time doing it and realizing how delicious it is and how easy it can be.
Wow. So I know that you have a great Facebook group. So I wanted to ask you, well, first, thank you for sharing all this wisdom. This has been amazing. And I know it's a lot even for me to take in. I'm like, all these things to know. So, definitely to recap, it's like, look what's in your refrigerator, see your labels, be more mindful about your eating. Definitely slow down, when you're actually, and then pay attention to how your body is processing what it is that you're putting in your body, and know that there are a lot of other options out there for you. You don't have to stay stuck in the routines, what you have. There are things that you can wiggle from your sugar, dependencies to maybe some other options. So tell us more about, how you're helping women and what you have to offer and what's going on. Because I know that, I don't have a lot of structure in my life around all of this, and it would be great to have somebody like be a mentor like you, to work me through this. So tell me what you've done.
So I have a 6-week breakup with sugar program that takes you through every day. Basically, you join the program. Every day there's a new video for you to watch that kind of gets your mindset right, some journaling, some just personal development, to start your day off positively and in the right mindset. a 20-minute workout that's great for all levels, that just gets your body moving, big ranges of motion, kind of like a Tai Chi Pilates-esque type of workout.
Nice, not too hard.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone can do it. And I mean, I start my day out with these exercises every day. And so I know that it helps me, and I hope that it helps others. People are really enjoying them. And then, of course, all of the tools you need to stay on track with your eating. So some journal entries that you'll want to do, not counting calories, but just being mindful of what you're eating, how foods might be affecting, so you create that mind-body connection. And then a whole foods guide of, different levels of the program that you can do, more advanced, more beginner. It talks about serving sizes, again, not obsessing over it, but just being aware of, because a lot of people don't, I know when I'm like aware of how much I'm eating, like I usually would choose like 16 ounces of meat when really it's like the size of your palm, so just again.
True. Well, I mean, we're just so conditioned in this culture to be like, supersize me. I want the biggest. I want the most for my belly.
Steak.
So what was the name of your program again? It was
that one, the 6-week program is Break Up with Sugar. And you can find that on my website at coachingwithaudrey.com. And then if you are someone who needs a little more accountability, maybe dealing with, and issues with food, you just have no idea how to get started, you need more accountability, if you need more custom workouts, then I have a one-on-one program, and it's an 8-week program. And we kind of go through each week and figure out what foods are right for you. So by the end of the program, we've really customized a workout routine, a diet routine, and also gone through a ton of mindset work together. So that's a really, really beneficial one. The stories that I hear from my clients on those ones are amazing. And even like 6 months later, they're still kicking it and doing amazing things. So you can also read some great testimonials on my website, again, coachingwithaudrey.com.
Awesome.
And then for just daily accountability and support, if you're not ready to join a group, or even if you're in the group, it's a great place to be. My Facebook group is called Back in Action, Redefine Your Health. And so every day there's video, and I mean, there's not videos every day, but throughout the week there's videos, workouts. Everyone in the group is really, really supportive. So, we've had people just even ask very personal questions like, how do I put myself first when I have a family to take care of? Self-care is something that we really, really talk about in the group. And it's amazing to see how everyone else kind of supports each other and answers those questions as well as myself.
Well, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So it's called Back in Action, Redefine Your Health. It's a Facebook group. Yeah, I know I'm a part of the group, and you have some great, informational value posts. You've got some awesome inspirational posts. I mean, just in those days, and I'm like, oh God, I don't want to do anything. Like, it's just your smiling face and your awesome pictures and what's going on, and you're so real, and you're out there with video. Just no matter what your environment is, you're like, here I am. This is what's going on today, and I love that. It's very, very comforting. So
thank you. I love it. I love being in the group myself.
And so if you've been watching along, I'm going to have all of Audrey's contact information, her website, links to her Facebook group, all of it right in the description box of this video. That way you can click on it. And also if you're watching this on YouTube, you can click in the description box of this video and find out how to get in touch with Audrey from there. So Audrey, I really appreciate you being here and sharing all your amazing wisdom and your vulnerability and your authenticity and everything that's so natural and effortless to you. I know it makes a difference just by you sharing, what it is that you know and what you've gone through and how you're helping women. So thank you so much for that.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me and for hosting. This is great.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is my new, Monday endeavor at 8 p.m. Eastern time every week. So Comfortable, Confident, Inside Out. That's what today's show is about. It's where I bring you top mentors in areas of health, wellness, business, finance, to have you learn their top tips and strategies to get you on track and being able to feel comfortable and confident inside and out in those areas of your life. So thank you so much for listening to us today and being here with us. If you have any other questions, feel free to pop them in, the description box of this video or in the comment section of this video. We're going to make sure to go back and read everything and get back to anybody who has any questions. And I'll see you next week, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern time on this on this channel, the Empowered Tapping Revolution. And until then, bye, ladies.
Bye, everyone.